All right, whew. We're gonna try this. Oh my God, there's a hole in my bag. Oh no. Ugh. How is there a hole in my bag? Ugh. Ugh. All right, I'm just gonna use this as much as I can and getting it back. This is annoying. Ugh. Do you see that? I don't even want to hold it. It's gonna make a mess. I just have to change my bag. This is annoying. Ugh. Welcome back to the show where we wing the recipe so you don't have to. We had a very busy, productive day going to multiple grocery stores to find meat because everyone's still freaking out and we're hosting Mother's Day tomorrow. Josh is going crazy.
I swear to God, get the freaking camera off me. Lose my mind. Ow! God.
Okay there?
I think so.
Anyway, we're gonna make, or attempt to make, really delicious chocolate raspberry cupcakes for Mother's Day. I have done this recipe as a cake before, so hopefully it all goes smoothly.
Yeah, hopefully.
So this recipe is kind of 3-part recipe. These are all the ingredients that you need for the first part. This is just the cake/cupcake portion.
Wait. This is all you need for the first part?
Yeah, and then we have our raspberry portion, and then we have the Ganache/Mascarpone Cream portion. God. It's not bad. They're actually all simple ingredients: flour, sugar, egg, salt. I mean, we'll have it attached below the description of everything. You ready?
I don't know. This looks just...
It's not bad.
This is like your normal what we make, and you have a cake that you do, and...
So we are going to start with the dry ingredients. We're going to have the small bowl. So you're going to start with the flour. You need 1 3/4 cups. And you want to use a sifter. This will just make it nice, light, and airy. You just go sideways, up and down.
Yeah, I know how to sift.
Okay, perfect.
I went to school for sifting, actually. Sifted.
Now we need 3/4 cups to sift. Oh, where are you going? 3/4 cups of cocoa powder.
You might be asking why I don't get involved in baking recipes, and this is why. I made a mess.
Okay, we need some for the recipe.
This is much harder to sift than the flour. I didn't finish school for sifting.
You're so
forgot to tell you that. Why is this taking forever?
Okay, pause.
Okay.
Now you're going to take a teaspoon of baking powder. Yeah,
Nope.
we'll just scrape it up.
Okay.
Teaspoon of baking powder. Just going to sift that. And then you want 2 teaspoons of baking soda.
Looks like it sifted pretty well on its own.
Yeah, that one did. All right, go ahead. Should you bring it down? What are you doing? Oh. So we're just going to scoop that up and shove it in there. Okay. All right, now we're going to add 2 cups of sugar. You are not sifting this. And a teaspoon of salt.
It's on your hair there, man.
Is it food?
I think it's on your other side, too. There you go. Looks like it's out of the way now.
Okay. All right, so now you're going to just carefully mix that together so nothing comes out of the bowl.
Shouldn't we have used the bigger bowl for this?
Nope.
No?
No.
Okay, you sure?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Apparently got bigger things planned for the big bowl.
I was not paying
How well
attention
do we
to
have to have
what
this
you're
blended up?
That's fine. That's
Yeah?
good. Yeah.
So half-ass?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so this is the dry ingredients for the cake. So we're going to just set that off to the side. And now we're going to start the wet ingredients, which you use a large bowl for. A cup of buttermilk. 1 cup is 4 tablespoons plus a cup of water. It looks a little clumpy like this. So you just want to mix it all together. You can use a whisk or fork spoon, whatever. Okay, that's enough. Stop. A half a cup of vegetable oil. No. What were you going to do?
I can eyeball a half a cup.
No. Baking is not eyeballing.
You don't even know what a half a cup looks like. You have to check.
You are not eyeballing my recipe. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I went to school for something, not this.
Okay, that's not even a half a cup. Look at all that extra space. Oh my.
Look at that.
Okay,
Tricks.
just pour it in. Okay, alright. Alright, here, 2 eggs. I'm going to turn our tea kettle on just to boil some water because we're going to need that also for the wet ingredients. So when I'm waiting for the water to boil, I'm going to finish with the wet ingredients. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then we're just going to whisk all of it together. So this is all you do for the wet ingredients minus the boiling water. And now we're just going to start adding the dry ingredient to the big bowl of wet ingredients. Do you want to stir and I'll add the ingredients?
Sure.
You don't have to go fast.
I feel like I should be wearing an apron.
You should be.
Thanks.
And it looks pretty good. Everything's mixed. You don't see any extra powder on the bottom. So we're just going to let this sit. The water is almost done boiling. So we're going to add that in next. All right, so we have our boiling water. You need 3/4 cups. Just going to mix it until everything's combined. Would you like to get out the cupcake tin for me? Cupcake?
Oh, sorry.
So you don't want to over-mix it. So there's no like boiling water pooling at the top. It looks like it's kind of combined now. So I'm just going to leave it like this. Over-mixing does something bad to the cake. I don't remember what. Cupcake?
These aren't cupcakes. Give me cupcakes out of this.
I'm not making Scooby-Doo cupcakes. So I got these cute little cupcake papers today. And we're just going to line them. What color would you like? Blue, yellow, or pink?
That's a tough one. Thanks.
So people actually have these things that are like actual cupcake batter scoopers to make the perfect amount in each cupcake area. I don't have one of those. So I usually use a spoon or a ladle. Whatever I feel like. A 1/4 cup actually looks pretty good. We'll see how much batter we have left over after I pour them in all of these. So this is a little bit of a process, and obviously this is only the first part of our cupcakes. So it is time consuming, but it's really not that hard. I mean, the first part of making this batter, was pretty easy. So if you have regular baking ingredients at home, you can make a cake from scratch or cupcakes. All right, so first 12 is done. I'm looking at all of these. I want to make them as even as possible. So I'm just going to fill a few more. Going to set it at 350. Why not use both of them? So I have a little bit of cake batter left. Not a ton, maybe for when I use my rubber spatula, maybe about 2 more cupcakes, and I'm not going to let that go to waste. So we have a half dozen sheet that I'm just going to do a couple more. What happened to the blue ones? Oops. Rubber spatula. Okay, so I just got 2 cupcakes, but there's still more batter. So with my cheese. I don't know if you can see it, but scraping all of this extra batter down will probably get me another cupcake.
It's a lot of work for one more cupcake.
Or it's just a waste if you don't do it. Okay, so as you can see, there's 3 empty cupcake spaces. What I was told is that if you fill them with water, the actual cupcake batter that's in here will bake more evenly. So I'm just gonna fill them halfway so I can still walk and not spill the water. Another thing too, which I probably should have done before I just filled it with water, is you want to try to get the bubbles out. You want to do this with cake and cupcakes. So you just kind of tap it on the countertop, and then you can see all the little air bubbles rising to the top. So that's good, and I'll do it with the other 2. So ovens are at 350. We are going to put them in, because I've only done this with a cake before. I've never used this recipe for cupcakes. So I'm just gonna say we'll put them in for 10 minutes and see how they go. Normally cupcakes go in for about 15, but I don't want to accidentally burn them. So I'm gonna put my timer on for 10, we'll check them, and then we'll just add a couple minutes each time if they're still not done. Okay, so for the second part of the recipe, we're gonna be making the raspberry jam to fill the cupcakes. So you're gonna need frozen raspberries, lemon juice, sugar, and cornstarch. All of this stuff we're going to use after we puree the raspberries. You can use regular raspberries that are not frozen. However, I was told in the recipe that there's not as much flavor in fresh raspberries. I guess because the frozen ones hold all of the juices and the flavor. So I got frozen ones. And I'm just gonna get a bowl to put those in. A sauce pot will work. Why can I never get this out? And this is a 10-ounce bag, and I'm using the whole bag. So now we can add all of these things to our sauce pot. You'll need 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and then 1/3 cup of sugar. Whew. Nothing broke. And now we're going to put this on the stove, medium-high heat. Stir constantly. The raspberries will thaw out. The sauce should thicken. Once everything's thawed out and it's more sauce-like, you just want to keep it at a simmer. So it's obviously going to take some time, but just keep on stirring it around. It'll get there. And don't forget, the cupcakes are still in the oven, but my timer is on. So the middle, they still don't look done. I'm gonna put in a knife. Yeah, still really gooey. I'm gonna check the other oven as well. These actually looked a little bit more cooked, but they're not done. So I'm gonna give it 2-3 minutes. We'll check them again. So I don't know if you can see, it's definitely all thawed. It looks a little thick, which is what we want, but we also still need it to simmer. So it's gotta stay on the stove a little bit longer. Oh my God, what did I do? Okay, it's been another 3 minutes, so we're gonna check the cupcakes again. They actually don't look too bad. I'm just gonna keep it in there for another 30 seconds when I check the other one. Yeah, they actually don't look bad, so it was 13 minutes. Just gonna cool on the countertop when we get the other one out of the oven. Oh, my raspberry jam is bubbling. Just gotta stir that and get the other ones out of the oven. So now that our jam has been bubbling, it still looks pretty thick. Everything has definitely defrosted. So I'm gonna take it off the heat now and just let it sit on the countertop for a little bit. So now that the raspberry has been sitting on the countertop for a little bit, it's still hot. You can see the steam, but it's fine. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it through this and get the raspberry goo in this wet bowl. This is just to collect all the raspberry seeds. When I have something that's raspberry filled or has raspberry on top of it, I don't like biting and having all those little seeds stuck in my teeth. So this doesn't get rid of all of them, but it gets rid of a lot. So it's not something that you have to do. I just like to do it. I prefer doing it. So you're just gonna pour a little bit at a time. And I'm just using the same rubber spatula and just kind of pressing down a little bit on the raspberry, and you can already see all of those seeds just at the bottom. So all of those seeds are getting stuck at the bottom, and I can tell raspberry has already fallen through because there's not as much up top here as before. So this is when I'm gonna add more raspberry to it. As you can see, I don't want to lift up too much because there's still raspberry dropping out of it, but all of that raspberry, I don't really see any seeds in there. It's all seedless jam that we're making. And it didn't look like very much, but we're not done with all of the raspberry. There's still plenty more in the pot, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but if I lift this up, there's actually a lot already at the bottom that when I use my rubber spatula, a ton of it will just come off and fall into the bowl. It just needs a little bit of help. So this is a little bit of a process. It's just time consuming. So you just have to be patient. You might not think that the raspberry is going through, but it is. It's just slow. And you don't want to force it, because if you were to press harder down, then you're just going to get more seeds going through it. Pot is empty. I don't know if you can see, it still looks like we have a lot of raspberry in here, but it is all like seeds. And I don't want to be munching on seeds when I take a bite of the cupcake. So I'm just going to rinse the rubber spatula off, get all those seeds off, and then I'm gonna bring this up and I'm gonna start scraping to get all that extra raspberry out from underneath. I scrape down as much as I can. Like I said, if you want to keep on working at it, I'm sure you'll get more raspberry out. I'm not sure how much more, because it really is just seeds left. Yeah, I think that's about it. And again, if you don't mind the seeds, you can use the whole thing and skip this process. So now that I have a bowl full of seedless raspberry jam, you want to stick it in the fridge just so it cools completely. It's probably pretty cool now because I've been doing this for quite some time. It's lukewarm. So, I don't know, we'll check it in 15 minutes, see if it's cooled down. Very tangy, but it's good. The raspberry goo has been sitting in the fridge for about 20 minutes. It's cooled. Cupcakes are cooled, so we want to fill them. I'm going to use a melon baller and just scoop the middle out. If you have one of these, you can use it. You could just cut with a knife, use a spoon, whatever you have. So I think I'm going to use the small end and just start hollowing the center out. That's all you need, just a little bit. And then you're going to make a pile of cake that you're not going to need, so then you can taste test it and eat it, because why not? So you're just going to do this to all of them, and then we'll start filling them with the raspberry. Now that we've scooped out holes in all of the cupcakes, we're going to fill the raspberry with them. I thought about putting them in a pastry bag, Josh decided to use a turkey baster. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm not gonna do a lot for each of them just because I wanna make sure there's enough raspberry. If there ends up being enough, then I'll just add more to them. These look really cute.
Just like you. So there's more than one use for a turkey baster, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than basting turkeys, you can baste cupcakes as well.
This actually isn't working out too bad.
We have a turkey baster, but not a lemon
Zester.
Yeah, because all the turkeys I baste.
Yeah. So we have some left over. I am not going to get rid of it. After we do the third part, which is the mascarpone and ganache, maybe we can drizzle some of this on top and make it look pretty. So I'm just going to keep this off to the side. So now we are on the last step, the third and final portion. These are all the ingredients that you're going to need. We have mascarpone, which is a type of cheese, corn syrup, vanilla extract, heavy whipping cream, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and powdered sugar. And I have this glass measuring cup here because the first portion we are going to work on is the ganache, and you have to heat up the heavy whipping cream in a microwave in a microwave safe bowl. So we're going to use this. You are going to need 1 2/3 cup of heavy whipping cream. You want to get it at eye level. It's the best way, I guess, to measure it. I don't know. So 1 2/3 cups. I'm going to put this in the microwave for 2 minutes. Our microwave is kind of high, so if you know that yours takes a longer time to heat up, you can put it in yours for 2.5 3 minutes. Just see how it goes. You kind of want it to start boiling. This is a 12-ounce bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips. The recipe calls for 12 ounces, so I'm just going to use the whole thing. You don't want like it too sweet, so semi. So I was just checking my milk, my heavy whipping cream. It has not boiled yet, so microwave is still going. All right, so this ended up being in the microwave for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So now you are going to add your chocolate chips, and you want to start stirring. And the hot heavy cream will just melt all the chocolate chips. And then we are going to use the corn syrup, and we're going to put a tablespoon of that in as well. So you just want to keep on stirring this until all of the chocolate is melted, until it's all combined. I don't know if you can see that. It's looking like chocolate milk right now. So again, this isn't, crazy difficult. It's just time consuming. You just got to keep on stirring. It'll get there. So this is getting nice and thick. It's getting really chocolatey, if you can see that. So it's looking good. I'm going to stir it just a little bit longer, and then we are actually going to take a 1/2 cup of this and just keep it off to the side because that will be used with our mascarpone cream. Yeah, it looks really good now. Okay, so let's get a 1/2 cup. Look at all that chocolatey goodness. So I'm just going to move this off to the side for now, and we are going to start with the mascarpone. This isn't another step, only because we're still using part of the ganache for this recipe. So you're going to need 6 ounces of mascarpone cheese. I got 2 small containers, so they're 3 ounces each. If you don't know where to find this, it's in like the specialty cheese section at the grocery store. You'll see it might be like near like the mini things of ricotta or like the little mozzarella balls. You want to get all of it. You want all 6 ounces. it in the bowl. Then we are going to do 1 1/4 cups of heavy whipping cream. So for this recipe, total, I ended up using, a pint, duh. A pint of heavy whipping cream, and then maybe another 3/4 of a pint. If it looks dirty, it is, but it's just like, oh, it's the cocoa powder, so I mean, whatever. So we've got the mascarpone, the heavy whipping cream. We need a 1/2 cup of confectionery sugar. This is a 1/4 cup, so I'll use 2 of these. And then it actually says a 1/2 cup and a tablespoon, so we will do that extra tablespoon. And then you're going to need 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. There we go. And then we are going to blend it all together. So let me get my blender. This is not a blender. This is an electric mixer. So it's definitely getting thicker. You know, you can see the little peaks forming. So now we're going to use that reserved 1/2 cup of ganache and pour it in the mascarpone. Gonna blend it up. Gonna mix it up some more. Oh, by the way, Josh left me. He decided that he was bored sitting and watching me. So he went to get drunk. So he does not get this to lick. This is really good. Like, I think I could just eat this mascarpone cream with a spoon. It's very light. It's chocolatey. It's just like a really good cream. All right, next step. Next step. These were the 3 steps in making the cupcake. You had the cake portion, the raspberry filling portion, and the ganache / mascarpone portion. If you want to consider decorating the cupcake, I guess we would say that's a 4th portion, but it's just putting it all together. So I don't know, up to you, whatever you want to decide. So we are going to start with putting the ganache on the cupcakes. I'm saving these for later. Okay, so originally I wanted to be able to take the cupcake and like dunk it in the ganache, but I'm afraid that the raspberry goo might fall out. So I think I'm just gonna spoon the ganache and try to drizzle it over the top of the cupcake. I think that will be better. So I'm just gonna see how this goes. I have a feeling like I'm gonna be too messy. We'll start with 1. I'm just gonna stir the ganache a little bit. It's still really liquidy. I might wait a couple more minutes just so it thickens up a little bit more. This is a lot of ganache. I probably did not need to make this much. I don't know, maybe I should just dunk a cupcake in and see how it goes. We'll start with that. You ready? All right. We're just... Oh, wow. That worked out nicely. Did you see that? That's not too bad. All right, let me make sure like all the raspberry doesn't fall out. So I'm gonna do this one a little slower. See the ganache, pretty liquidy, whatever. It's still warm, it's fine. You just, oh my God. And dunk it in, look at that. I think I'm gonna put a little bit on the spoon and just take care of that little indent. I don't know if you can see it. Oh my God, this is great. It's not even like dripping down the side. Like it's a little bit where I dunked it in, but it's really holding itself. Oh, I'm glad I just went for it. I feel like it would have helped maybe if I put more of the cupcake batter in so they were raised so I'm not getting part of the paper, but I mean, I'll know for next time, right? Ooh, that one was a little a little messy. All right, well, I'm going to dunk the rest of these and then we'll see how they look. So these look so pretty. The ganache really worked. As you can see, it's here, so we definitely didn't need as much as the recipe called for. I guess if you were making a cake out of this recipe, there's more surface area, so you probably would have used it all. I didn't. You'd probably get away with using like half of the ganache recipe if you're gonna do cupcakes. So I'll remember that for next time. We still have our mascarpone cream, but I want the ganache to sit a little bit and kind of like, not harden up, but just like, you need it to set. So yeah. So I'm gonna stick them in the fridge for like 15 minutes just so they can set, harden, whatever, and then we'll put the mascarpone cream on top of that. All right, so while those cupcakes are sitting in the fridge, I thought about being a little creative and I tried to put some food coloring in the mascarpone. It's not the brightest color, but the mascarpone is already kind of brownish, so it's pretty good for it used to be looking brown. So I think I want to try taking a portion of it and making it this kind of like pink color. I think that'd be pretty because my idea is to, instead of just like putting the mascarpone all over the top of the cupcake, is to use my cute little piping design here that you usually use for frosting and instead use it for the mascarpone. So I'm not sure if it'll turn out. I'm gonna try it, but I'm definitely gonna do pink. So I'm not gonna take all of it just in case it doesn't turn out well. We'll just start with like a good chunk at first. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. I'm gonna add some red food coloring to it. Maybe like 3 drops. Just gonna start with this knife. It's definitely gonna need more food coloring. I'll do 2 more drops. I'm gonna do a couple more. I want it to look better than like a dull brick red color. I did 3. So what is that total? Like 8 so far. I think that looks better. All right, so now I'm gonna put it in the bag. Okay, just gonna twist that. I don't want to put it on the cupcake yet because I don't know how it's going to turn out. So I'm just going to squeeze it on the rubber spatula and see if it works. Oh my goodness, look at that. Can you see that? That's gorgeous. I'm definitely going to do this on the cupcakes. I have a few different tips, so maybe I'll try a few different designs out. That works great. I'm definitely going to have to color some more mascarpone though. But like, it's holding its shape well too. It's not like flopping over. That turned out really good. All right, let's get the cupcakes. So these definitely sat for more than 15 minutes. It's not gonna hurt them. Like, it just makes the ganache set more, so. That doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty good. I like that. That's really cute. Just take a look. That looks good. All right, let's do another one before my bag explodes. Oh! All right, I got a new bag. Let's try this. That one didn't turn out as good as the first. I'll keep doing some more. See how they look. Whew. Wow. That took forever. I am very pleased with how everything came out. I did realize that when I was doing the flowers, the mascarpone, like filling the stuff, it started to get soft, so the flowers weren't really keeping their shape. So I put the mascarpone in the fridge for a little bit, didn't do anything, put it in the freezer, didn't do anything. Use the electric mixer, got it a little thicker again, kind of helped. What I noticed that helped the most was just really taking my time and going slow. So patience is key. There were quite a few, that the flowers just looked awful. So I just, like these ones, I just put the mascarpone over it. And then with the leftover ganache and raspberry, I just did a little drizzle. So you've got some flowers, some drizzle of both. I like the variety. I think it looks great. And I hope that when we have people over tomorrow for Mother's Day, everyone enjoys it. So like I said, Josh isn't here, so I'm not going to do a taste test without him. Obviously, I've been like tasting things along the way, and they all seem good separately. I just don't know about together. I guess we'll figure out when he comes home tonight. If not, maybe we'll have the mothers do it on Mother's Day tomorrow and see what they think. It's been 3 days. Where have you been?
Did you finish the cupcakes?
Yeah. Where have you been? I had to host Mother's Day without you. I had to try to work your grill. I had to make the cupcakes all on my own.
Yeah, I was very productive helping you make the cupcakes. I realized that. Can you just let me taste a cupcake? If they're so delicious? My Lord. That took 3 hours.
Yeah.
What did the mothers think?
They thought I'm amazing.
Was my mom drunk?
Maybe.
That's per usual. That's where I get it from. Well, look at these. So they said it was good.
Yeah.
Did you film them tasting them?
I can't do everything.
Mm. So you can work a grill but not a camera?
Attempted to work a grill. I didn't say I succeeded.
Can tell that by your footage from this video.
That what?
How do I look?
Fat.
You have one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So, wow. It's almost like I'm tasting. It's almost like I'm tasting like fudge. Like it because of the what did you put on here? The top.
I dipped it in ganache, and then this is the mascarpone.
Yeah. Okay. So the the ganache tastes like your fudge, basically, like you're biting into.
Kind of like those
Fudge
Hostess
thing.
cupcake things. No,
I think
better.
a little richer.
Better.
Yeah.
Cake is really moist.
Moist. It's a good word.
Do you like the mascarpone on the top? It's very creamy.
Flowers could be a little better looking.
These weren't the best ones. I gave the best ones to the mothers. What about did you even taste the raspberry filling? Okay.
Could have less seeds, but
I tried really hard. I think it could have more filling, maybe.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, that's another episode of Tubby Time.
Thanks for all your help.
You're welcome. I tried very hard in this recipe. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe, and comment, and whatever else it is that you're supposed to do on YouTube. I don't know. I want to have a beer.
No! You're not.